Hello everybody, welcome back to Smart Move Insider. This is our last episode before the summer break, so we have a pretty good subject for today, goal setting. I know summer is pretty full with plans, with relaxation, but do we need something in the horizon to aim for, or should we just chill and have fun?
I think you should always have some kind of goal, even how small they are, because I believe, like we talked in other episodes, that we should always stay moving to a certain point, and then having some kind of a goal is a good thing. It can be, a 10K race after summer that keeps you going at least 2 times a week. It can be, I want my first trick pull-up that keeps you showing up to the gym. I think it's good to have goals.
Do you think those general goals, like I just want to stay active, I just want to move 3 times a week, is a bit broad, or you need something more specific?
I think the first thing you said, I just want to stay active, is the broad one. But if you say I want to stay active 3 times a week, at least that's already more specific. At least I have something to aim for, to check my list. Like every week I want to do 3 workouts. I don't really care what it is, I just want to get movement in. But people that say I just want to move and it goes at random, I have the feeling that that's not going to last, to keep you motivated, because that's what people talk a lot about, right? I'm not motivated to train. Goals give you motivation. You have a reason to go, you have a reason to do something, you have a reason to ride your bike, you have a reason to run, you have a reason to lift weights. So you just need to find the reason for you, what's meaningful. And goals do not need to be staying the same all year long or years in a row. You're chasing a 100 kilogram snatch, you're chasing a double body weight back squat. It doesn't need to be the rest of your life, but every 3-6 months, every year, the primary goal can change.
So just to be very clear, you don't need the competition necessarily as a goal. You can have...
Goal can be anything.
Exactly.
But I would suggest you to find one. If it's losing 5 kilos, the moment we have a goal, we can make a map, what the middle steps are in between to get there. And then you go and you stop focusing on the end goal and you start focusing on what's the next step. Because I think that's where people get lost a lot. The only thing they see is the end goal and they forget what all the steps are in between. So then they get frustrated that they're not where they want to be, because you didn't realize what the steps are in between. You didn't realize that, for example, you see something cool on Instagram and you see somebody that you know, probably, because that's what provokes it. Usually it's somebody that they know, so they become competitive. They see they do their first muscle up. But what you didn't see is that the road to the first muscle up, there are many middle steps to get there. They have the impression that this person got to that first muscle up with some magic drill, some magic cue, some magic exercise to get there. No, the road to the muscle up, there were many steps there. And it starts with, can you do a street pull-up? Can you do 5? Can you do 10? Can you do 10 ring dips? Can you support yourself on top of the rings? Can you do a negative? Can you do the transition drills of a muscle up? So there are many steps. They didn't just fall from the sky. But people are very focused on end goals, and then they're disappointed when in 3 months they're not there. But let's start first with defining your goal, and then talk to a trainer, and let's see what the roadmap is to get there and what a realistic timeline is. Because I think that's where most frustration comes, because I get more and more people around me and online that are frustrated that they are not where they want to be. But the problem is they feel like they're behind, and feeling behind on where you want to be and being behind are 2 different things. One is perception and one is measured in middle steps, like that roadmap I'm talking about. You just need to know what your goal is, where your start point is, and what the stations are until the final destination, and then we have something to work off. I think a lot of people, their frustrations are based on misconceptions or assumptions how long it should take for progress to take place or to progress from A to B, how many middle steps there are in between, also what class programming is made for, how many times you should actually train to get where they want to be. Do they actually have time to put all those steps in place? And if they have less time, it means the process will prolong. Mm-hmm. Are they ready for that? But it's all questions that it seems that they don't ask themselves. They only see, I have no muscle up and I want to muscle up. But the work in between is blurry. And if in 3 months nothing happened, then somehow they feel behind. And I think a lot of that has to do with the social media, the Instagram era where we live in. The only thing we see every day when you open Instagram is you see a guy PRing something, you see muscle ups, you see handstand walks, you see people finishing on podiums on competitions, you see guys running sub 60 on high rocks, you see six packs, you see people snatching huge weights. But what you don't see is all the moments that led up to those achievements. Nobody posts, today I did my 700 ring row. Nobody posts, before I snatched this 100 kilo that I posted my PR video, I missed it 10 times. Mm-hmm. But I filmed the last one and I posted the last one. But I didn't mention I just missed it 10 times. You only see the wins, and it gives people the impression that everybody around them is winning, and I don't have any wins. Yeah, it gives you a distorted feeling. You basically, what you're doing is you're comparing your everyday, day-to-day life with somebody's highlight reel. So only the best. The problem is that the reality is that most training days are boring. You're just doing the work. Most training days, there is not big progress seen. It's the accumulation of months and years that leads to those wins. So you need to be careful. Like I posted recently, you need to be careful to not compare your chapter 2 with somebody's chapter 15 of the book. You do not know the road behind, you do not know the work behind. And that's going to lead to a lot of frustration if you only focus on the end goal. And I think social media is only half of the story. I think a bigger problem might be something else, is that people are often in denial of what their current level is. No matter what the subject is, I'm on my road to 100 kilogram snatch, I'm on my road to try to podium on one of the local competitions, I'm on my road to get my first muscle up. It's not intentionally, it's not because they're arrogant, I think. It's just because they didn't make an honest assessment of where they are at the moment, what is their start point in the road they want to walk on towards that destination, whatever that is. And I think they assess more where they want to be than where they are at the moment. So I think, so like I said in the beginning of the podcast, it would all start with defining your goal first, so the trainer can talk to you about what it will take to get there. And then you make a plan, you make the steps. What will it take to get to my first muscle up? Okay, we're going to start with 6 pull-ups. What do I need to do to get to 6 pull-ups? And then there is a plan. And then we progress step per step, and down the line, you're going to get to your goal. Mm-hmm. But now we get people walking in and they start to run, and 3 months later they want to be able to run sub 40, 10 kilometers. They start CrossFit, and within 6 months they want to muscle up. They start Olympic weightlifting, and within a couple of months they want to snatch 100 kilos. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. The problem is not their goals, the problem is the timeline. I think people underestimate how long it takes to reach what they say in the CrossFit courses, how long it takes to reach excellence. It doesn't take months, it takes years. And then they become disappointed when the reality doesn't match with the fantasy. But communicate with the coaches, communicate with people that went from where you are to where you want to be, and they will tell you what it really takes work-wise, and then you can see if it's doable, because it's not just about wanting a certain goal. It's also, am I living the lifestyle that will allow me to put the time in to get where I want to be? That's the number one. Do I have the time for it? Like, I have a realistic plan now in front of me. It's going to take a year. It's going to take 4 trainings a week. I'm going to have to do certain exercises. I'm going to have to get strong at certain things. Can I put the time into it? Because most of us, we're not professional athletes, and we don't have time to train 2 times a day. We don't have time. A lot of you don't even have time to train 5 days a week. You have wives. Hopefully, you have one wife. You have kids. You have shit to do. You have a job where you also don't just want to coast and just be a participant. You have ambitions. Man, the gym is not the only ambition you have, so we need to see if everything fits a little bit. And then we're not even talking about age and talent, because you can be upset all you want about it, but not everybody progresses in the same fashion. Not everybody recovers in the same fashion. Not everybody has the same coordination, and for sure not everybody has the same sports background starting from 6 years old, and some of us, we only started when we were 20, 30, 40. So realistic goal setting is a big conversation, and one that can be very confrontational to people. And I think majority of people, when I hear their complaints, is you're a little bit with your head in the sand, and you need to have a very honest conversation with yourself of what is your real start point, and what is the time you can realistically commit to this goal, and how important is this goal to you. Let me give you an example. Recently we organized a weightlifting cycle, 16 sessions, 8 weeks. The focus was improve the snatch. I picked on purpose one move, so we can drill the technique on at least 6 of the weeks before we start adding weight, because we see in classes that people still struggle with the base of the move, understanding the base of the move, knowing where the balance needs to be, knowing where to properly put the bar. So as long as we cannot do the move with lightweight or an empty bar or even a PVC, because we don't understand where to put it according to our body. It's not a strength problem, it's a coordination problem. You don't understand the move yet. So as long as we're not there where you fully understand the move, and you can make me look empty bar 10 reps the same on every rep or close to the same, we need to work on the move itself. For this, imagine if my goal is to get to 100 kilogram snatch. If we're not at the stage yet where we understand how to move the bar, the empty bar, I cannot get you stronger and give you strength exercises to then get your snatch heavier. You're just gonna do the snatch wrong, with wrong positions. You're gonna get strong, but in the bad position. So it has no point to give you a weightlifting cycle where we do heavy deadlifts, heavy pulls, regular back squats, get your legs stronger, get your back stronger, and then slowly do variations of the snatch just to get you closer and closer to that 100 kilogram snatch. Because you're still on the step 1 of the many steps where the end destination is 100 kilogram snatch. So to get back to the story, we have people, they want to improve their snatch. The cycle starts, we have 16 sessions. We have about 20 people that sign up because they want to really finally get the hang of this snatch. Of the 20 people, 4 attend 10 or more sessions of the 16 sessions total. The rest, so the other 16, they attend 6, 4, 7, 8, maybe half of the sessions. So the cycle ends, and some of these people, they are disappointed. They're disappointed because they didn't make the progress they were expecting to make. Again, we're talking about the expectations versus reality. We need to set realistic expectations.
So the programming was shit.
It must be. If in 4 sessions I couldn't get you to do perfect snatch, apparently it's a programming. So just think about it. You have 16 sessions. They attend, let's say 10. That's 10 hours of practice. I think you've heard about the 10,000 hour rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they say in theory, it's a saying, that it takes 10,000 hours to get to mastery. No matter if it's 10,000 or 1,000 or 500, it ain't 10. So the point being is that it's a long-term process. You need a lot of practice hours to get good at something. Even the 16 sessions, if you would have showed up to all of them, it's just a start. It's just a start. Mastery is long down the line. You can't expect in 8 weeks, 2 sessions a week to get super good at something. We're still at the base. There are people that are working on this for 20 years. This is their entire career, just this move. We need to think a little bit deeper of than I want 100 kilogram snatch or I want muscle up. We need to think a little bit deeper and envision the road, and then be okay with it that it's not going to be tomorrow, it's not going to be next month, it might even not be next year. Progress happens at different paces for different people, and it's dependent on multiple things. The thing is that getting good at something takes a lot of time. People want mastery over 10 hours, but this is not how it works. And that's not a training problem, that's an expectation problem. You have unrealistic expectations. Not even the most talented athlete, when he started, he didn't do it in the time frames sometimes that you guys have in mind. And the fastest way to become frustrated is to underestimate how long it takes to get to excellence. The fastest way to enjoy training again, in my opinion, is 1, assess and accept your current level, and then start building from there. Look at the road, have middle steps, because to stay motivated, to stay on this road, you need wins. So we need middle steps where we can check off wins. If we keep checking off the wins as a byproduct at the end of the road, you will get where you want to go, but you need to forget about the end station, and you need to start focusing on what is the next station, not what is the final destination. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it is, but I can just assume that we are living in a time of Instagram with a lot of impulses and swipe. I'm not getting satisfaction now, swipe to the next thing. I'm sure somehow, if somebody for sure researched it, but somehow it must be connected that we have very little patience these days. Set a goal, and the pleasure in reaching the goal is the journey towards the goal. Because if anybody has had goals and reached goals, it is for sure, it's a thing that once you set a goal, the goal post, they say, it always moves. So you get 1 strict pull-up, you stand still with it for 5 seconds, and you're already talking about, I want 5 stick pull-ups. You get 5 stick pull-ups, you want 10. You want 10 stick pull-ups, you want a muscle up. You run a sub 40 10K, you want a sub 39. You run a sub 39, you want a sub 38. We stand still way too little with how far we have come, because we always focused on where we want to go. So the guy that a year ago couldn't run 5 kilometers uninterrupted, today is disappointed because he didn't run his 10K under 43 minutes. A year ago he couldn't even run 5 kilometers uninterrupted. The guy that a year ago didn't have his first strict pull-up is disappointed because now he can only do 8. A year ago he couldn't even do 1. I think it's important for us to stand still, not to stay there, but to reflect a little bit on how far we have come. You are not behind on people. You are just in a certain point of the train journey with the different stops, than somebody else. Maybe they are further along the line than you are, but you are not at zero. A lot of you that are disappointed, you already come a long way. You just forgot.
Everybody's in his own line. Nobody's. You shouldn't be in the other people's line. You should be on your own. So just move forward in your own pace.
I think the other people's line is good to know, just to know their road, but don't over focus on where they are. It might be good for you to ask questions. Where are the steps that led you to the point you are? Because I want to go there also. But he didn't go from one strict pull-up to a one muscle-up. There are many steps behind. Just because it sometimes sounds vague, so I'll describe you a bit what that road could look like for most of us. Going from not having one strict pull-up towards muscle-ups. The road could look something like this. You work your way up to RX ring rows, meaning you're all the way under. Well, you start at easy ring rows, you go to hard ring rows, you go to RX ring rows, you go to feet assisted pull-ups, strict pull-ups, 5 strict pull-ups, you go to 10 strict pull-ups, you go to chest to bars, you go to support yourself on top of the rings, strict ring dips in 5s, 10s, you build strength there. You go to false grip strength, just hanging on the rings. You go to negatives. You go to your first strict muscle up. You go to your first kipping muscle up. You go to multiple kipping muscle ups. You go to multiple strict muscle ups. The road is long. Every one of those steps is not reached in a week. They all have their own strengths. They all have their own process. The goal for us is to check along the road. If you make enough check marks somewhere along the road, all of a sudden you're gonna get to that goal you were talking about maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Because how many steps is there now prescribed? 10, 12, and people are disappointed. A lot. People are disappointed that they don't have a muscle up after three months. They're so focused on the final step instead of asking. They're so focused on the final step instead of just asking what's the next step. We need a start point, and then your question needs to be what's the next step, and down the line after 10 steps we're going to get to your end goal. So when people talk to me about this subject, I don't ask how long have you been working on it. I just ask questions. Can you do a pull-up? Let's start with that. Can you do a pull-up? Are you smooth at keeping pull-ups? Can you do chest to bars? I start asking these questions. I start to ask questions to find out where on the road they are instead of focusing on the end product. The thing is that success, and I noticed this as an athlete and as a coach, that success always leaves clues. And what I mean with that is that anything that's looking impressive, it didn't come falling from the sky. There were some clues that this was about to come. You see somebody snatch 100 kilos. There were clues before that. Years of technique training, years of just generally getting stronger, mobility exercise. Along that road, all of a sudden that 100 kilogram snatch happened. But there were clues that this was about to come. Somebody runs a 38 minutes 10K. They didn't happen just like that. This guy was being consistent. He was doing weeks of whatever mileage was needed, 50, 60 kilogram weeks for a year. For a long time, he was doing threshold runs. He was doing recovery. He started at 43 minutes. He went to 40. He didn't directly all of a sudden pop up from no running to 38 minutes. There were clues that the progress was about to come. And the same goes for muscle ups. You see this guy doing strict pull-ups. You see this guy progressing in his ring dips. You see this guy doing false grip work. You see him holding the top of the rings. You see failed attempts. And then all of a sudden, you see him doing his first muscle up. The problem is we are falling so much in love with the end destination that we forget to enjoy, or we ignore the process that leads to it. And then we get frustrated because we don't have the outcome yet, because you're only focused on day one and then directly finish. The result, the muscle up, the 100 kilogram snatch, the podium finish at the local competition, the thing, whatever that for you is something that is something cool. Usually it's something cool. You see something else, that's usually what it comes down to. You see something else doing something cool, you also want to do something cool. Because let's face it, nobody wants to be average. I get it. But there is a road between being a participant and being a podium finisher. There is a long road to it. And it's not for everybody. So certain goals might be unrealistic, but we can put many realistic, achievable goals for any person. We just need to be honest with ourselves and see what is achievable. And then now that I already hit the competition element, so something I hear a lot in a lot of CrossFit gyms. People, they sign up for a competition, so it's also a phase. You've been there, I've been there, maybe I am there now. One of your goals at a certain point shifts to, I think it would be fun to compete. It's again a goal. It's a good thing. It gives you a reason to go to the gym. The problem is that with a lot of people that are in their year or their 6 months or their 2 years of competing, now all of a sudden they step into the class programming and they expect that now the class programming is there to prepare them for their specific goal, which at that moment, in that period, maybe only 6 months, is I'm very excited about competing. Now they start asking me questions about why don't we ever do muscle ups in the class programming? Why don't we do more heavy snatches? Why don't we practice more competition workouts? Why don't we do keeping pull-ups with a band? Because in the competitions they're doing keeping pull-ups with a band. But then the question is, okay, one thing they don't ask themselves is, what is the class programming for? They knew it when they arrived, when they were out of shape, and when they first started, they knew it and they appreciated it, that the class programming is there to help you get fit, do the daily things better, like move the couch, pick up the kids, run, stay active, work for longevity, become a generally fit person. Generally fit. It's a general fitness preparedness program, GPP, as you sometimes hear the abbreviation when you hear it in other podcasts or you read it online. When they were out of shape, they got that. But now that they want to compete, now they start expecting that now this general physical preparedness program needs to be tailored to their specific goals. The general programming is programmed for 300 people. This is our gym population that is after just, like some say, I just want to move a bit. Some push a little bit farther because with the general fitness preparedness program, you can get pretty fit, but it gives you a little bit of everything. But ask yourself the question, does an overweight mother of two need to be running into general physical preparedness program doing muscle ups? Probably not. Does that type of person need a double body weight deadlift to get more quality of life? I would say no. What I don't say is that it's wrong for them to strive for it. I'm just saying that the general physical preparedness program, this is not the goal of it, to get you to a double body weight deadlift. Does this person that that just here to move a bit to just get fit for life, do they need a 100 kilogram snatch? No, they don't. But can they benefit from doing snatches correctly with light weight? Sure, it's a skill. You learn something that keeps things fun. It's body awareness, it's body coordination. It forces you to work on your mobility, because if you have bad mobility, getting in an overhead squat, which is the base of the snatch, it's impossible. So it does bring a lot of good things with it. But is my goal to get these type of people to 100 kilogram snatch? No, they don't need it, because that's not what the programming is for. But if your goal is competition and you don't just want to participate and you want to be competitive, yeah, this changes things. But now we're talking about general physical preparedness and preparing for a very specific event that has very specific requirements. And at the local level, I can make you easily a list of what the strength requirements are for you to be able to qualify top 10 in the category that you want, what the skill levels are. And then this designs again a roadmap of where are you versus where do you want to be. But that is not achieved purely alone from going to class program, which is a physical preparedness program. This is a misconception of what you think the programming is for.
And you can actually train for it in your own time.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm going now. That we actually already have things set up to help you fix your particular weakness. Because, be clear about it, I have 300 members. If I would have to tailor the general programming to everybody's preferences and weaknesses, I would have 300 programs. And that's just not realistic. That's just not possible. Can you get out of the programming the things that you're after? For sure. It starts, for example, with, okay, you have a particular weakness you want to improve. Join the gymnastic class. Join the weightlifting cycle. Use the open gym. Work with a PT, a personal coach that can write your programming. But then comes the uncomfortable truth. To be able to get the most out of the stuff that is already there, you actually have to show up. We're talking again about my weightlifting example. You actually have to show up. The gymnastic class is not at your preferred hour. The weightlifting class is at Bererie, it's too far. The weightlifting cycle is held on Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah, but then I have Pilates, or then I go for drinks with my friend, or then I have to brush my cat's hair. Dude. Or the remark that really gets under my skin. The gymnastic class is on Tuesday and the weightlifting class is on Tuesday also, and both on different locations. It's like they do it on purpose. I'm interested in both. Listen, when we put things in the program, it's not according to some person, some individual's particular preferred hour. It's not to punish anybody. It's not to benefit anybody. It's very simple. It's like in any company. The class hour and day gets picked by the availability of the coaches. That's where it's based on. It's not based on what fits best for you. And it's too easy to look at situations like this only from your own little bubble. And I understand. But you also need to be realistic. You look at it from your point of view. You, in your case, would be the gym should make all the decisions in a way that suits your situation and your goals the best. That would be the ideal scenario. But it's not possible. It doesn't work like that. And guess what? We also have a solution for that. When you want to train on the days that you want to train at the preferred hour that you want to go, and you want to also have control of what is done in that hour, there is a name for that. You know what it is?
Personal coaching.
It's personal training.
Personal
That's
training.
what it needs. That's where that happens, where the individual basically decides about everything. Class programming is general physical preparedness. All the specialty classes that we do have been announced to be in cycles. When Adrien is here, there is a gymnastic class. When he's out of the country, there is not. When I organize a weightlifting cycle, I told you it's an 8-week cycle and then there will be a break. Don't make the misconception that all access means that you're entitled to having everything just there. All access just means you want to train more than 12 times. And I've already, with my example of the weightlifting, kind of showed you that for a lot of you, you like things to be there when you feel like going, not necessarily because you're super determined to reach a goal, because then 75% of my people wouldn't be under half of the amount of attendances. So that's why we work in cycles, because if I run it all year long, attendance is low. So we work in cycles, and then I hope I get people motivated enough to show up as much as they can for 6 to 8 weeks, make a real difference. But it's chosen from what we think fits the community the best. So if you want something that fits the individual the best, then you should talk to us about personal training. And that doesn't necessarily mean you need to be only in personal training and it's going to cost a lot of money. You can get a long way just with 1 or 2 sessions of personal training per week, and for the rest take an 8-session membership and go to the classes and still get a lot of benefit out of it. But in those 2 hours, it's me and you. Every rep you do, every move you make, I'll be watching you. In the class, it's me and 14 people. I can help you progress, but a lot of things will just also come a little bit out of self-correction, and I give you attention, but it's not the same as I stay with you 1 hour. You will obviously make much faster progress if I stay with you 1 hour on one specific thing that's exactly your weaknesses, and I can tweak you on the moment. The class programming, a lot of these moves, they do come back, but the class programming is based on variety, so toes to bar might not be there every week, and if you want to practice toes to bar, getting them in class for 15 minutes might not progress you. It will progress you, of course, but it's going to be on the long term. Personal training, the goal is to get you faster into a progression, because we get more time together and more exposure and multiple times a week in comparison to every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks in class you get some toes to bar. Which doesn't mean that, and I try to tell people, it doesn't mean that in classes you cannot make progress on your specific weaknesses, but there it will depend more on you communicating very clearly with me. If I'm the coach and, for example, you say, in the gymnastic class, I was so happy to get my first bar muscle up. Super. The moment you have a skill, I need you to put it into weekly, at least 1 time weekly. I need you to put it in. And how do you put it in? You come to the class today and it's 5 rounds of I don't know what, 10 pull-ups, 20 push-ups, 500-meter row. Talk to the coach. Tell them about your muscle up. The moment we have a skill, we need to incorporate it. This today with the pull-ups might be, because it's a similar movement, is the perfect day to replace 10 pull-ups with 1 or 2 muscle-ups. You get practice in. You need exposure to the skill. Or maybe it will be 1 muscle-up and 5 banded muscle-ups. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, but there are options. You just need to speak. But then at that moment, if you want to incorporate your specific weakness and work on it, it's something that me and Sergio call come to class with an intentional training. You need to know that class you're coming to with the intention of improving your weakness, not competing on the leaderboard. Too many of you see every training as a competition, mini competition, where you want to be as high as you can on the leaderboard or beat the person you're in class with every day. Your friend or your nemesis can be both, because we want to beat our friends and we can laugh with them. Or we want to beat the guy that annoys us and show how strong I am. But if you want to compete, you need to go to competitions. Use your training majority of the time to get better, to make progress. And then use other days to push when it's, especially I would say push on the days that it's all exercises in your wheelhouse. You don't have too much technical flaws. You don't have too much exercises that slow you down. You're pretty smooth at the exercise of the day. I think this is a super moment to push. All the other ones, technically, you should try to get improvement and forget about speed and try to do things correctly or better. Can be, for example, I'm coming into class and it has power cleans and I want to get better at doing them touch and go. So I'm gonna maybe lower the weight a little bit and I'm gonna just focus on getting smooth down, keep the bar close, tap the ground directly extend again, and touch and go my reps. So because I want to get smooth at doing 10 in a row. So this can be a goal, but then choose your days. Some days we go fast, majority of the days I would say choose at least one thing in the Metcon you're going to challenge yourself on. We have too many people, for example, they have been staying in the same ring row angle for a long time. Improve your strength by putting your feet 30 centimeters closer. Once that becomes becoming smooth, go a little bit closer. Don't just do exercises just to do exercises and rush through them just because you're more focused on finishing fast than having to break up a set of 10 in 5 and 5. You have more benefit of 5 and 5 challenging than 10 easy ones, trust me. Down the line, I'm making the assumption that most of you, or maybe all of you, the goal is small wins, improvement. That's what keeps training fun. At least for me, that's what keeps training fun. But to make small wins, you need to always search a small challenge. And you don't need to wait for the coach to hold your hand to find the small challenge. You know better than me what you struggle with, what's hard, what's easy, what's medium. So you need to self-regulate a bit and search this challenge yourself. But train, don't compete all the time. And then of course, so we can use the class to make improvements just by communicating with the coach, but then we also have the open gym. Come to the open gym once, twice a week, work on your weaknesses. It can just be 30 minutes, especially on gymnastics stuff after the warm-up. 30 minutes as pure drills for a lot of people. It's already pretty tiring. Like imagine standing on your hands upside down for 30 minutes. Usually on the gymnastic drills, hanging on the bar for 30 minutes, hands start becoming a bit sensitive. You probably have enough. Coming to open gym for 30 minutes, practice a little bit. In two ways. By yourself, that is going to require self-coaching. That means, and it can be done 100%. I've done it many times. Buy a program online. Usually it has videos. Film yourself, compare it to the video. What is the video doing, what you are not doing. Make in between sets small adjustments. Basically, you're your own coach. Expose yourself enough to good practice, because that's important. Good practice, you will make progress. Just like I said, it's not about the perfect programming. It's just about you showing up and doing the stuff. Doing bad practice just reinforces bad habits. So if you practice by yourself, you need to make sure that you film yourself and that you're sure that you're doing the drills how they're supposed to be done. The faster way, of course, is personal training. Come whatever you want in the morning, in the evening, and the coach will give you the programming. The coach will outline you the steps. The coach will look at the drills, will give you key points of what you need to change. And down the line, you will make progress. The only thing you have to think about is showing up. You don't have to think about programming. You don't have to think about checking your own videos. You just need to show up. This is the coach's job to progress you and to adjust you. So we have been talking for a long time now, right? Because this is a subject I think I can keep on going, especially if we go more and more into detail and specific situations. That's why if you guys are unhappy with your progress, don't be intimidated to step up to me and to talk. I'm direct, but I'm willing to communicate, because a lot of the frustrations come out of misconceptions and out of assumptions. Sit down with me or any other coach, tell me your goal, we outline the roadmap, and we pinpoint honestly and maybe very directly where you are on that map. And then that's the start point. And then it's about you showing up. So that's what's the solution to all of your issues is step number 1, be brutally honest with yourself where you are on that road map. What is your start point? Not where you wish to be. When we know your start point, we outline the roadmap. We have a way to go. Maybe, like they say sometimes on Instagram, maybe the road is uphill, full of rocks, snowy, it's rainy, you're against the wind, but there is a road. Now we start focusing on what's the next step, not what's the end destination. Be determined enough. If the goal is important enough to you, you will start check off every step. You will start focusing on the process more and the next step than on the end destination. This will bring joy back to your training because you will come with purpose to training. Number 2, choose one primary goal, not 5.
And stick to it.
And stick to it. Stick to it long enough for it to work. 8 weeks, my primary goal is to make progress on the snatch. 8 weeks and only showing up half, it's not long enough to have change. I know CrossFit, it's inherent to CrossFit, especially if you're on the competitive side. There are so many things to learn and so little time. Many things on gymnastics, those weightlifting, just the Olympic lifts, and then the power lifts, just generally getting stronger in deadlifts and back squats. Cardio, another element, slow cardio, fast cardio, so many things to do. Pinpoint what is your biggest weakness. Hit that one first. Everything else becomes secondary. The problem is, because we are CrossFitters, is that we are afraid that when we focus on one primary thing and try to maintain the rest, that the rest is going to go way down. Not as much as you would think. Not as much as you would think. For example, in my case, before I started my endurance focus, which started a bit more than a year ago, I deadlifted 210 for 5 reps. I haven't deadlifted heavy in a year. Last time I tested it, just out of curiosity, with 0 deadlifts, I could still do 190. But I didn't focus on it, so I didn't even maintain it because I was focusing on other strength exercises in this period. So I didn't even maintain it. So what I want to say is that if you have a base of where you push something far, even if you don't focus on it at all, the base, it doesn't go to 0. You don't drop to 50%. You maintain surprisingly a lot, even if you don't do it at all. And in most of your cases, you shouldn't do what I did. I didn't deadlift, not really heavy. I deadlifted, but not heavy. I just deadlift for many reps. I didn't deadlift sets of 2, sets of 3 heavy. You should just go for maintenance, and we do that in class. Deadlift does come back. Back squats do come back. They do come back enough to at least have maintenance level. So even if you don't do it, don't worry. You don't need to have 5 goals and push on all stations. You can have a main focus for 6 months on one and then shift it to something else, or longer, depending on what the goal is of the progress you're aiming for that weakness. It maintains pretty well. And then number 3, like I said before, become obsessed with the next stop. That next train stop, not the final destination, just the next step. Because, like I said before, there are clues. Cool shit doesn't just fall from the sky. Impressive achievements is simply a collection of small milestones, small steps on the road, the next train station. If you stack enough of these small wins together over a very long period of time, and I say on purpose very long, I didn't say long, very long, just get your mind to the thing that mastery is a very long process. It's not months, we're talking years. The side product will be all of a sudden that 100 kilogram snatch at the end of the road, that muscle up. It doesn't fall from the sky. It's all those middle steps that you took, and you focus on those middle steps, put them all behind each other, and all of a sudden you'll be where you didn't think you were going to be. We're a year and a half further, but you're there. 100 kilogram snatch, bar muscle up. For some faster, for some slower. So the people that are succeeding around you and that you see on internet, the majority of the time, they're not the most talented. I jokingly say to many people, we all think we are the 0.1% that picks up skills just like that. We think I put muscle on easy. I have the Hercules complex. It's a gene. People that have that gene put on muscle much easier than other people. All these are the guys that are the world champions, usually in the strongman. They have the Hercules gene, majority of them. Trust me, just go from the idea, you're probably not the exception on the rule. Most people that achieve things, it's not the talent. They just put in the work. weeks after weeks, months after months, years after years.
Like the saying, hard works beats talent every time, because when you have talent...
When talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah, when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah, they don't obsess about the destination. They just obsess about the next step, about what do I need to do from week to week, from month to month to month to month, and just keep going. Forget about the destination. The destination is going to be there at the end. And it's also the process that you need to learn to enjoy. So one more session, one more rep, one more skill practice, one small improvement, one small win. That's what we're after. So set yourself up a roadmap that has small wins. Because if that roadmap isn't there, the road seems very long and you feel like you're behind on people because they're always posting their wins. You need to have small wins for yourself that keeps you motivated and keeps you realizing that I'm on step 4 of 12, but I just passed 3 steps. This is progress. Where was I 2 months ago? So every impressive achievement that you admire today was once a beginner that started a goal that looked impossible. So for sure, dream big, set ambitious goals, but be realistic. Have the roadmap. But it's important, I think, for you to respect how long it takes to go to mastery, to go to greatness, to go to the cool shit. Remember, you can't improve from where you wish you were. You can only improve from the exact point you are right now.
That's really cool. Yeah, this was kind of a rant, but yeah. I know it's your passion about talking about goals, because people that know you, they know that you have a specific plan for everything that you do in life.
I do,
especially in the physical conditioning.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for sharing your knowledge from experience and from observing other people. And that's it for today. We'll hear you on the next one. Until then, stay active this summer.
Set yourself goals.
Set yourself goals.
Measurable ones, that's the important part. And don't forget where you used to be. You're not a beginner. Everybody began somewhere. We didn't come from zero. Look back once in a while and be proud of what you achieved so far.
Exactly. Show some gratitude. Show some gratefulness from the road you have been on. Okay guys, see you soon.